My girlfriend told me she was pregnant, and a few days later she said she had an abortion, all as a joke. English is not my first language, so bear with me here. I'm a 27-year-old male, and my girlfriend, 28, and I have been together for the past 2 years. It's my first serious relationship, and she's the only person I've truly loved, really loved. I have 4 siblings and a mother. I like my siblings, but I do not love them, and I hate my mother because she was abusive, both physically and mentally. I've never been close to them, and I've always believed that being related by blood doesn't obligate you to love someone. However, I knew one thing: if I ever had kids, I would love them no matter what. Becoming a dad was my most important dream. Not just a father, but a daddy, a man who would do anything for his family, who would watch his kids take their first steps, hear their first words. I just wanted to be there for them, to see them, to listen to them. But now, I don't know if I still want it. My girlfriend told me she definitely wants to have kids in the future because it was her dream too, to become a mom and have a happy family. We like to play pranks on each other, but they were innocent jokes like doorway tape pranks or hiding a small plastic spider in a drawer. Everything happened this week. Last week was normal. There was no indication that my girlfriend was planning a prank. On Thursday, after I came back from work, she sat in our living room looking concerned. I immediately noticed and sat next to her to ask what happened. She then showed me a pregnancy test and said she was pregnant. I couldn't believe it. I was overjoyed. I hugged her tightly and kissed her. Although she still seemed concerned, I excitedly told her that we would be parents and that, although it's a big responsibility, we would manage together. She asked me not to tell anyone yet because she wanted to do it personally. I agreed, thinking she might tell her parents during our usual Sunday dinner at their house. I was the happiest man alive. I had been looking for an engagement ring, planning to propose, but now I decided to wait and buy a ring she deserved, to do it right. I was excited all day and wanted to spend all my time with her, but she wasn't in the mood. I thought it might be hormones, so I didn't push and assured her I was there if she needed anything. That night, as we went to bed and I hugged her, massaging her belly, I told her I loved her and we would make it through. Before we fell asleep, she mentioned needing to take a day off from work. I told her it was fine and to call me if she felt bad. I would come home from work early to be with her. The next day, I woke up before her and went to work as usual, leaving her a note that read, "You will be a perfect mother," to reassure her. I texted her a few times during work, but she didn't respond, which worried me. When I came home and she wasn't there, I called her several times without a response. I contacted her mother and sister, but they didn't know where she was either. After waiting a few hours and trying to call her many times, she finally returned home. I hugged her and asked if everything was fine, and she said, "Yes, now everything is fine." She said we needed to talk, so we sat down, and she began to say she was afraid of being pregnant and didn't think she could be a good mother. I interrupted her, insisting she would be great, citing how she cared for her niece. She said this was different, she wasn't ready to be a mother yet, and with a small smile, she said, "I had an abortion." I was shocked and asked her to repeat herself. When she did, my heart broke, and I started crying, asking, "Why? You said you wanted to be a mother." I fell to my knees, crying, reaching out to her stomach, asking, "Why?" I looked into her eyes and shouted, "How could you take my baby?" She regretted it but didn't answer. I screamed, "Why did you take my baby?" Then she started crying, saying it was all a prank. I cried even harder, asking if she was still pregnant, but she denied it, saying she had never been pregnant, and it was supposed to be a joke. She hugged me, apologizing, saying she didn't think I would react like this. After a few minutes, I asked her why she thought it would be funny, but she couldn't answer. I pushed her away and walked out, saying I needed to be alone. She tried to stop me, but I told her to leave me alone and drove off. I stopped at a parking lot about 40 kilometers from where I live. My phone was ringing constantly. I knew it was my girlfriend, but I didn't want to talk, so I turned on airplane mode. I lay down in the car seat and fell asleep. The next day, I woke up cold and went to work. A friend noticed I was upset, but I just said I had a bad night. After work, I cried again on the drive home and decided to sleep in my car, not wanting to be a burden to anyone. My phone was dead, so I lay there all day, thinking about what happened. I couldn't imagine myself as a dad anymore. Every time I tried, I cried. My heart was shattered, and I didn't know what to do. Today, Monday, I've decided to go home and talk with my girlfriend. I'll update in the next few days. I don't know what to say to her or how I'll react when I see her. But one thing is clear, she's lost my trust because she knew how much being a dad meant to me, and I don't know if I can forgive her.